Hey, what's up, everybody? It is 9 o'clock Eastern, which means that we are ready to go here. As you guys can see, you know it's 9 o'clock because look behind me, no lights on. I just kicked out some cleaning people. That legit just happened. We're going to get going really quickly here, guys. Like, I'm going to give you like 60 seconds to get on here. As you're coming in off to the side, you're going to notice there's a chat bar there. Let me know it's working. Try it out by just telling me where you're coming in from. That's how I'll know that everybody's here. Once I know that everybody's here, we're going to get going, like literally within 60 seconds, because we have a ton of information to give you today. We did this also earlier at 1 p.m. Eastern. We're going to try to, Mark and I have been talking here, we're going to try to not go too high level here and try to go step by step by step to make sure that this applies to everybody. But I'm telling you, get your, even though it's 2016, your paper and pen or whatever you're going to use ready, because this is going to be a lot of notes, okay? So in about 60 seconds, guys, as I said, just get into the chat box over there. Let me know where you're coming in from, and then we will get started, okay? It's always fun, Mark, right? All of a sudden it's going to go whoosh, just I think we're on a like a 45-second delay or something like that.
Nice.
45, 60 seconds, something like that. Here we go. All right, everybody's coming in now. Perfect. A lot of Vegas people. There it is. Never gets old. And everybody starts coming in like that.
That's incredible.
Yeah, really cool, man. I always tell the story. I feel like on every one of these webinars, I tell people that I used to do these, you know, and there'd be 3 people on. One was my mom, one was my friend, and somebody else was just lost.
Yeah.
You know? And here we are. So
Lost.
really, really cool stuff.
Just lost.
All right, guys. So I really, let me just make sure here. Yep, everybody's jumping in here. I really just want to get started, guys, because this is set up to be an hour-long webinar. Hour-long training, although we always go longer just because we'll answer as many of the questions as you want us to answer. Mark, I don't know about you, but I'm free to stay on here as late as you guys want to answer as many questions as you want. But the actual teaching part of this will go for about an hour. We're going to talk about systems in your business. We're going to show you some very specific ones that Mark uses every single day to do hundreds and hundreds of transactions, which is really, really cool. I want to make it very clear that, you know, technical issues are a part of things. Like, if it happens, I'm sorry. If you're having one, just log off, log back on. If you're on Internet Explorer, I can just about guarantee you're going to have technical issues, or as Internet Explorer people call it, just issues, because that's what happens with them. I said earlier, and I mean it, they're good for about one thing, and that is using them to download a different browser, okay? So please, I feel like saying I'm here all night when I see you laugh at that stuff. So please understand that we're not here for perfection. We're not even going to use slides tonight. Like, we're just going to try to show you and talk to you about some real-world things that'll help your business. We have one goal, which is to give you some value, okay? All we ask for in return is that you give us your attention. Fight against that ADD mentality that so, you know, takes over our society, and really just give us your attention, because what you're going to learn today has the ability to really change the path of your real estate career. Whether that means you're trying to go from 15 to 30, whether that means that you're trying to, you know, do like Mark has done and really build a company that he's now replicated in other parts of the country and even in other countries. Whatever that means, please pay attention, okay?
Hey, Jared.
As we're doing this, guys, you can see right below my name over here. Go to connectwithjared.com. I think I actually have a way here that I can help you all out with that. Let me do this. Connectwithjared.com. Redirect them. Let's see if it worked. You can go to connectwithjared.com. Connect with me on all the different levels, guys. Share with people that you're on here. I do different things on all the platforms. On connectwithjared.com, those are all the places I'm actually active. Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, both my fan page, personal, and Snapchat, guys. That's the #1 place I'm going to tell you to follow me. 90% of my stuff is done on that platform, okay? So send me a snap. Let me know. It's the one place I respond to everybody. Let me know you're on here. Ask questions. Just interact. It's a really good thing, okay? So let's make sure we do that. This is a very important topic today. You know, as many of you know, we have thousands of people in our coaching program. I talk to tens of thousands of people every single year. And systems is something that everyone knows they should be doing. It's kind of like the gym. It's like everyone knows they should be doing. It's kind of like carrots. Everybody knows they should be eating them, but most people aren't. We're not taking the time to actually implement systems. And the downside of that is manyfold. There's many things that are affected by that. Obviously, loss of income. Obviously, one of the worst things I think can ever happen, which is not reaching your full potential, which is a terrible thing. But also the health risks that come with not having systems. Your body was made to respond to stress, and your heart rate goes down, and all these things happen that actually make you respond better to difficult situations. But when you have chronic stress, which is what so many of you right now are experiencing, you have a higher chance of diseases like diabetes and others. Your body takes longer to heal from normal injuries and illnesses and these other things. And it's just not the way you were supposed to live, period. Like, I don't know how else to say it. You weren't made to be wondering where your next transaction was going to come from. You weren't made to be stressing over your phone ringing constantly and feeling like you've sold all the minutes in your day and you just can't go any further. You weren't made to not enjoy, your kids being raised or having friends or, fulfilling your highest potential. You weren't made for that to happen, okay? At the end of this training, we're going to have an incredible opportunity for you. People always say when they get on these things, oh, they just want to sell you. Look, guys, we're going to give you awesome value. Whether you decide to take advantage of something we're offering you or not, that is completely up to you. But we'd be doing you a disservice if we didn't do what it is that we do, okay, which is help a lot of you and do that in various ways, okay? One way is going to be through the free information that we're going to give today, okay? Yeah. But I have the distinct honor today of introducing Mark Maniha. Mark is an incredible guy. Mark is somebody who was one of my first one-on-one students. So I saw Mark back when he was, working his core and just working his sphere of influence and trying to grow his business and figuring out how this whole thing was going to work. And I've seen him come from that to you fast forward today. And I mean, he has a president of his company. He does hundreds and hundreds of transactions, and it's all because, Mark is a guy that once he sees something and he believes in something, he simply implements. He executes. I put something up on Instagram and Snapchat the other day where I said, look, thank you to all of you that watch my videos. Thank you to all of you that respond on Snapchat with "Did you sweat?" hashtags, from working out and whatever. Thank you. But understand at the same time that watching me work out, watching my training videos on YouTube, watching all of these things will literally not take 1 calorie from your body or add $1 to your bank account. I do what I do for a living. It's humbling to know how many people watch my stuff and otherwise, but at the same time, I don't do this so I can become people's teddy bear that they feel good about. I want to help people, and that means we execute, okay? And so that's what today we really want to focus on is execution, 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 okay? So Mark is from Houston, Texas. So I have my red Solo cup.
That's right, yeah.
All right, I love this bar. And so that's why I have that here today. Mark, why don't you take a chance, man? Just say hello to everybody, and then we're going to go right into it. Go for it, man.
Yeah. So, hello, everyone. I'm glad you guys jumped on this call. What I will tell you is just to reiterate exactly what Jared said. I mean, we're going to go step by step through this, whether you're starting by yourself from 0 transactions or 5 or 15. If you're stuck at that 30 deals a year where a lot of realtors get stuck at, we're going to show you how to go from that all the way up to doing 200 plus deals a year. How to do it without spending a ton of money, and how to actually build a business. So. And
how to do it with spending a lot of money.
Yeah, both ways. Yeah.
You've come from that situation where you had to start with nothing. I started with nothing. Yeah. You had to come from that.
Yeah.
And one of the things that really motivates us, you told me a story recently about your children, your first 2 children. Why don't you tell everybody what that was? I hope that's not too personal, but I think that's something that people relate to.
No, absolutely, and that's what I tell this story a lot to new people who are wanting to get into the real estate business. There's a reason that NAR says I think it's like 82% or 87% of all agents who get in the business are out within the first 12 months. Somewhere in there, somewhere right in there. I think the stats, it might be off a little bit, so please don't yell at me. But anyways, as far as those. How it was back then, when I first started in the business, it was tough. I didn't have the money to then be able to pay for leads. A lot of these systems that we use weren't even available yet. And so, Facebook, I think, was just getting going and all kind of good stuff like that. So, you're talking 2009, one of the worst recessions we've had, and I decided to get into the business. And so, it was one of those things where we just slugged it away, and we did open houses because that's what I was supposed to do, is open houses. I didn't have money to pay for leads, and so I worked my sphere of influence, and I worked 16-hour days, and I worked 7 days a week, and I literally had a newborn at the time and then a 2-year-old as well. And it sounds terrible, but I don't remember my son, who was a newborn, him being a baby. I don't remember the first 2.5 years, and we decided to have a third just a couple 2 years ago now, and we ended up having twins. But the reason we did that was because it was a selfish reason. But now I had the time to be able to spend time with them. I can tuck them in at night, and anyways. But we ended up finding out about 3 years in. Here I was at 250, the top 250 Remax realtors in the state of Texas. One of the top agents in my entire brokerage.
And this was before you were doing anything like what you're doing now.
And this was working the 16-hour days, 7 days a week. Not taking any days off, and so I was at the Remax 250, top 250, with my wife in Austin, and we were there one time. I think you were speaking at that event.
Okay.
But we were there, and I told my wife, I said, if this is the way that it is going to be, working 16-hour, 18-hour days, not seeing my family, it seemed like to everybody else that I was super successful, making a ton of money, but I was spending so much money on the business because I didn't know what I was doing, that my net at the end of the year was just nothing. And so I told her, I don't think I want to keep doing this. This isn't the life that I want to live. And then I think my third year in, one of my first buyer agent ended up netting more at the end of the year on his taxes than I did. And here I am investing all this money. So that's when
you had the wrong structure. Everybody thought you were doing well. Everybody thought you were successful. Yeah. Everybody's, oh, Mark, come tell us what you're doing. And yet the truth of the matter is you didn't feel that successful.
No, and I hooked up with you at that time, and we started doing some coaching and putting systems in place, and then we just grew from there. And so it's easy now to look back and tell folks what to do and what not to do. And there's some dangers out there that a lot of agents fall into, and that's hopefully what we'll go over tonight.
All right, so here's what we're going to do, guys. I want you to pay attention to this because we're not even using slides, which is like, oh my God, gasp, We're not going to use slides. What we're going to do is we're going to talk about, there's way more types of systems that we can cover every bit in an hour, okay? But there's 3 basic types of systems we're going to talk about today because they're foundational to just about any business, no matter where they want to go, okay? Especially in the real estate industry. So number 1, we're going to take a little bit and talk about lead generation systems, okay? Lead generation is not just lead generation. You have to have systems for lead generation, which means that when we're on this broadcast, when Mark was just away on vacation, when we're in New Orleans in 2.5 weeks for our mastermind, when we're in, leads still have to come in, period, okay? It can't be when I'm slow I work things and when I'm busy I just take care of my people. And so we're going to talk first about lead generation systems. Guys, please take a lot of notes, please, okay? Second, and we're going to record this, so as long as everything works, we'll send you the recording as well. The second thing we're going to talk about is we're going to talk about lead conversion systems, which are extremely important because simply creating leads without having the ability to convert is just going to steal your time. It's just, right? And then the last thing we're going to talk about is we're going to talk about some systems for tracking vendor ROI. And now some of you might listen to that and go, I'm not even sure what that means, but, I can't wait to hear it. And you're going to hear at the end just how important it is because we're going to teach you guys how you can actually have other people paying for your marketing in a legal manner that doesn't break any kind of RESPA laws or anything like that. So right off the bat, man, as far as lead generation systems, although there's like 25 different ones we could talk about, the ones that I'd like to kind of go over briefly right now just to give people an overview of how this works is probably Facebook. Okay. We'll probably do some pay-per-click, talk about how that works, and then I want to talk about some prospecting, some old-school prospecting, how systems work for that. Yeah. Talk to us a little bit what you guys do with Facebook from a systematic approach. Number 1, to create seller leads, and then how you leverage those sellers to create buyer leads. Mm-hmm. And then, like I said, guys, once we cover these lead generation systems, we'll talk about how they go into the funnel of conversion systems and how that works, okay? Yeah. So, Mark, I don't know how you want to do this, but can you show us some seller stuff, and then can you show us some buyer stuff? And as far as I'm concerned, let's do as much screen sharing and actually showing people as humanly possible. Yeah, we can do that. We can do that for sure. So what I'll show you, let me just share my screen here. I'll actually just scroll over and show you some of the Facebook ads that we're talking about here. So funny, I just looked down. My Snapchat just went crazy off of that initial. Nice. Thank you, everybody. I'll get back to you tonight. So this is
can you see the screen there, Jared?
I can see it. Yep.
Okay. Yep. So this is the Mark Maniha Real Estate Experts, our Facebook page. If you want to connect with us, you can go there as well. But that way, I won't have to tell you it again. But um, on this ad here, for instance, was a video that we walked through of one of our listings.
Lots of privacy.
So you'll see here that it's about 10 or 12 minutes long, but it walks through the video. We posted the video and then we did a boost on it, just like a regular ad. You see we reached 31,464 folks on this ad.
So literally, man, you just took a phone, you walked around, and you were just showing the property.
Yep.
You put it on your business page, and then you promoted it to the area, to buyers in the area, because on Facebook you can choose demographics like buyers and stuff.
That's right.
And I want to make sure everybody knows this is not a webinar to tell you how to promote and do that stuff. If you go to jaredjamestoday.com/webinar, there's a full training on that you can go look at. For now, we just want to do an overview of the systems, okay?
Right. Yeah, for sure. And so let me get back here. I didn't want to. Sorry.
No, take your time, man. It's all good. Like I said, the goal is not perfection.
It's sad because I'm perfect. Let's see. So on here you can see that this ad we had reached 31,000 people, 16,000 video views, 209 reactions, comments, or shares, and then 392 link clicks. Of those clicks that we went through, we actually got, I think it was like 55 leads that actually came through off of that one.
Off of the $75 spend so far, you've gotten 55 buyer leads off of that, which now, again, we won't go into it right now, but in the next part we're going to go over how those go into your CRM and what kind of systems and that kind of stuff happen.
Right.
What are you doing from a creating seller leads from a systematic approach using Facebook?
Seller leads, let me show you this one. Give me 1 second, I'll share my screen. I'm just trying to find it.
And again, guys, what he's about to show you, if you go to jaredjamestoday.com/webinar, there's a full training on how to set these things up. We have a department that does it as well for you, but if you know how to do it or you want to do it yourself, you can go watch that free training.
So, let's see here.
Take your time, man.
One second.
While you're doing that, I'm just going to tell Phoebe, she said, what CRM do you like best? You're going to see which one Mark's using right now, but that's just because it's connected to his website. I'm a big fan, and we highly promote Wise Agent. And Wise Agent is a company that if you go to wiseagent.com/Jared James, you get a free month. You also get all of our follow-up systems in there. And we're going to go a little bit more into detail on that in a little bit when we're talking about follow-up systems. But right now, like someone just asked, how do you get these listings? That's one of the things we're going to show you right now. Okay? How you doing with that, Mark?
I'm good. All right, let me share my screen here. Sorry, I had a different ad pulled up on accident, so I had to close it and go back over it.
We appreciate you sharing, man. A lot of top people won't share this kind of information. So
this is the ad that we ran, and it just says, these homes sold in your area in the last 30 days. The Houston real estate market's moving. Get your free home evaluation here, right? When they click on this ad to get more information, it'll take them to a landing page.
Yep.
The landing page just simply asks for them to enter their information of their address.
Yep.
And then that lead will then dump into our CRM that we use.
So just so everybody knows, I just want to make this very clear. A lot of people are asking about this. Number one, again, I want to keep saying this. This is free info. Go to jaredjametoday.com/webinar. We show you how to set up these types of ads for sellers, where basically you're going to have to connect that ad, some kind of a seller ad, looking to sell, get your instant home valuation, that kind of a thing. You're going to have to connect it to a landing page. If you're looking for landing pages, and Rachel, if you could please post this, you can, one of the easiest places, and if I remember correctly, Mark, this is what you're using right now as well, is listings to leads. So if you go to listings2leads.com/Jared James, again, you get a free month. Doesn't change the price at all or anything like that, but you get a free month. And all the landing pages and everything are created right off of there. Super simple. And again, we don't want to take a lot of time showing you how to do that because they'll walk you through. Their customer support team will show you how to do that. But the point is once you set it up, it's done. So while we're on here, while you're on vacation, you're getting seller leads all day, every day, because these ads are running, and that's a system that's creating leads no matter what you're doing, no matter how busy you are, no matter any of that stuff. Okay?
Right.
So Rachel just posted the link in the chat, listings to leads, LASTINGSTOLEADS.com.
That was really good.
Jared
That was really fast. That was like the little micro cars guy that used to talk to us.
I should be a. I should go do what do they call them in front of a thing? And you gotta get a, what are they called?
An auctioneer.
An auctioneer. That's right. I don't have a high enough pitch voice for that. Yeah, and they work amazing, guys. So that's how you would. That's one other system using Facebook is one to get the listings. You would set up the home valuation ads, and then the other thing you do is with your current listings, you do things like virtual tours. You do things like, you just post them coming soon or new listing, and you promote them to first-time home buyers, to buyers, and you don't pay unless people click, unless they engage, unless they leave their info, unless they, it's the 2016 way to be leveraging digital. So that's one way is Facebook, okay? And again, there's whole other trainings on that. I just want to get through the actual systems that are working here, okay?
And one thing, Jared, if I could say one thing also, just for those out there that we may be scaring off already as far as with saying this is too complicated or too much or how much does it cost and all that good stuff, I don't want to spend too much money. These leads that I've got here, if I can share my screen one more time for you, these leads, the cost of these leads are ridiculously cheap. And so you're talking about, let's see here, you're talking about a cost per website click of 32 cents. Per click, right?
Yeah.
And so, these we're not talking about folks dropping thousands of dollars up front on these Facebook ads. The things that we're talking about here at the very beginning are things that anybody could start doing with a small budget as a new agent and work their way up.
Mark, Alicia said, what if I don't have a listing? Number one, you're going to want to be doing the seller home valuation things we talked about to get listings. And again, jaredjamestoday.com/webinar. Rachel, if you'll post that so they know where they can get that free training. But then at the same time, you are allowed to run these types of ads for the buyer, the new listing, the virtual, whatever you want to do, for your broker's listings as long as you get their permission.
Yeah, I mean, that's what...
Leverage their listings. You got to have the cheese to catch the mice. You can leverage their listings to do that, okay? So there's always a way, okay? Mm-hmm. The second way that I wanted to talk about was, and this, again, there's 25, I'm just giving you guys some ideas right now. Another one as far as lead generation systems that they just continually happen no matter what, is going to be your pay-per-click, your PPC, okay? And pay-per-click, very simply, it's the idea that I say to people all the time, if you want to look something up or you want to go somewhere or you want to find something, how many of you go to Google? And everybody raises their hand. And then I say, how many of you advertise on Google right now for your real estate business? And nobody raises their hand. And I say, how ridiculous is it that in 2016, you are not marketing anything like what you're acting like as a consumer? Mm-hmm. That makes no sense. And so what PPC is that you actually buy search terms that people do, like a specific condo complex, the Foxwood condos, Milford, two-bedroom, whatever, in this school system. And when people search those terms, your site is going to show up at the top. And you only pay when they click.
Right.
And when they click, they're going to go to your website. And when they go to your website, like in Mark's case, for example, Mark has what's called forced registration after 20 seconds, which means that when people go to his website, they can search around all they want on his website for 20 seconds. And once that 20 seconds comes up, a box pops up and forces them to register or leave. And you might go, oh, nobody would do that. That's crazy. Like, that's whatever. Mark, how many people register on your site? Like one in what?
I believe...
I know what your numbers are. We did this at the last Mastermind.
I don't remember...
1 in 9.
Thank you. Hold on.
We did the last Mastermind, man. It was 1 in 9.
26%, right?
That's crazy. Like, 26%. So that'd be like 1 in 4. But I remember being one. The point is, it's a really good percentage that do. And now he's keeping track of what it's costing him to get people there. And I want you guys to understand, no matter what level you're at right now, Mark budgets like $7,000 a month on his PPC. He did not start there. Like, you started at $200, and then he went up, and then he went up, and he reinvested, and he reinvested.
It's Jared, it's 18% is what it was.
18% is so okay. So like 1 in 5.5 people come to your site, force register, and they fill out and give their information and become a lead. Okay. Yeah. Whereas everybody else has these websites, they get 0 leads, and they're like, what is going on, and what? And yet that's how you do it. Force registration within 20 seconds. Let them search around a little bit. There's those kinds of ways as well. In fact, Mark, I wasn't going to do this, but just super quick. Let's not get into the systems for follow-up yet. We're going to do that. But can you show on your back end, can you actually show them how many pay-per-click leads were created on your website last month? Is that possible?
Yeah, absolutely. I can.
All right, let's pull that up. Let's show them.
Give me 1 second. I'll just go ahead and, that way I don't waste your time. Let me jump into the...
While you're doing that, by the way, people said, does Mark do this himself? In the beginning he might have, but right now he has Commissions Inc. doing it, which is a company that does it. And then he also has a third-party independent contractor guy that does it for another office he's running now too. But that's just because he can afford to do that now. Whereas before, I mean, Mark was a lot like me when I started this company. Yeah. It's like pay no attention to that man behind the curtain. We were the Great Oz pulling every string, right?
Right.
Another good one? You like that one, huh, Mark?
Yeah.
You want to roll? Take my wife, please.
All right, so I'm going to share my screen here real fast with you guys. And
I'm not seeing the screen yet, just so you know. Oh, there you go.
What's wrong with my phone?
Got it. Now I see it.
So you can see here, this is the CRM that we use. This is Commissions Inc. that we've got, and you can see in here there's 10,655 total leads that we've got. New this last month was 797 into this system. So these are 797 buyer and seller leads that are coming into here. And new so far this month is 304. Okay,
so again, a lot of different levels listening to this right now. I want to make sure nobody gets overloaded. Like, Mark didn't start there, okay? Right. Mark, and I knew Mark when he wasn't doing anything, like Mark just reinvested, but the principle applies, right?
Right.
Like, whether you start out budgeting $30 and then eventually get to that, like, you have to start somewhere. You can't just keep doing hope strategy, going ring, 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 ring. That just doesn't work, okay? So you do PPC. Another one that you do, which I think a lot of people right now are really going to like, and Maria said, do you do pay-per-click ads on Facebook? That's what those seller valuation ads are. You only pay when people click. Okay?
And we also list we put our listings on Facebook to get buyer leads. We also go after buyers on Facebook and sellers with different ads, so all kind of stuff.
Just because the Facebook ROI right now is through the roof compared to so many other platforms. And again, guys, go watch that webinar I told you about. Like, it's great info. Now, the other one I want to talk about, and again, there's a million of them, but we have limited time, is what you're doing right now from a prospecting perspective.
Yeah.
So you've always prospected. That's been part of your system, right? And most people, when they think about systems, they think that means you're doing nothing and you're, whatever. But the reason why it's a system is because it's a set time, set day. This is what you do. And in the beginning, you were doing individual calls, calling expireds, calling FSBOs, calling, just like anyone can do, like a new agent should be doing, calling your sphere of influence. You were picking up the phone and calling, okay?
That was, yeah.
So today, show them the tool you use, and then we'll relate it to people, whether they're new, whether they're experienced. Show them what you use and how you do it.
To be able to get the leads in?
Yeah, what you use for, show them the tool, meaning you use the Mojo dialer.
Yep, absolutely. Okay. So, and that's what I think Benjamin just asked a question about, can we focus on some smaller stuff for smaller guys instead of really big teams? And so what I would say is all this really goes together for sure. And everything that we're showing you can be done starting off with a really small budget. We're not asking anybody to break the bank here, and just doing the prospecting, just doing what Jared has, the Core 100, and sending out and mail outs, all of this stuff without spending a big budget can have a really big return. So let me show you.
But we want to focus too on things that actually require systems now. Like, you've taken prospecting, which everyone should be doing, even the people that are brand new.
Yep.
Now you've taken it, and as you've scaled, you're now using Mojo Dialer, and tell people what that does, and let's kind of show people how it works.
Sure. So let me share this with you. So this is Mojo, and this is a dialer that we use just because it's a high capacity dialer. We can call 3 people at a time instead of just 1 person at a time.
Yep.
And we're able to get through a whole lot of leads a lot faster.
So you basically, I want to make sure everybody understands here. So you will take a list, whether it's your past clients, whether it's the newly, the daily FSBOs, expireds, whatever. You upload them into here, and again, that's something customer support can show you.
Yep.
You upload them into here, and now instead of just one call,
right,
what essentially happens is that it automatically calls 3 people at a time.
And so I'll select the list that I want, like I just selected a seller list. It'll pick up for where I left off because the last day and a half I've called through about 730 something leads, through this system, and so you always want to start where you left off. But you're able to leave a voicemail, of course, set it up to call.
So when you say you leave a voicemail, I want to make sure everybody understands, you're not actually leaving a voicemail. This has built into it, that's why it's a system, a voicemail you recorded that whether you, so if you don't get these people when you're calling three at a time, what does it do when it gets their voicemail?
Yeah, so it automatically leaves a voicemail. It's an incredible thing where I can leave hundreds of voicemails within just a couple of hours of calling, and I haven't even stayed on the phone. And so we can set the caller ID from anywhere. Like I have my Tampa office here, I have my cell phone, I have my office phone, all that's here. And then if more than one person answers at the same time, because I know a lot of you are thinking if you're calling 3 people at once, what happens if more than one person answers? It plays a message, and then it'll automatically.
You'll pick up with one person, you'll start talking, but then that other person that picked up at the same time, it will play a, what will the, can you show what the message sounds like?
It'll play this little message here.
Hello? Hello? Hey, I think I've got a bad connection. Let me give you a call right back.
Yeah.
So you guys hear that? It acts like, hello, hello, I've got a bad connection. So then when he gets off the phone with the other person, what happens? But it tells him, call that person back. So instead of only being able to call 20, 30 people and just like picking up, how many people are you generally able to call with that system?
Oh, that's what I was saying. Like the last day and a half, I went through about 760, 730, I don't know the exact number of leads. And I never would have been able to speak to that many folks. I'm able to tag, you know, if it's a good contact or a bad contact, whether I reached them or not, whether it was on a do not call or everything, whether it was a hot lead or you can tag it accordingly, leave notes, all that good stuff, and just keep calling.
You know what's funny, man? People watching this right now are going to hear what you just said. And this is what I need everybody to understand, because some people will automatically disqualify themselves and create a narrative that it doesn't apply to them because you're doing so much more business than them.
Yeah.
And yet you're doing so much more business than probably almost anybody on this right now, and yet you personally are contacting the last 2 days 700 plus people.
Oh, yeah.
So Mark has no more opportunity every single day than every person watching right now, and yet still the hunger is there, and the constantly calling and having conversations and having difficult conversations and having people say no to him and having people is still happening. He starts with the exact same opportunity every day, and yet he's probably going to get more done because he has a systematic approach to his business, and he simply puts in the work and isn't afraid of being said no to.
Right? And somebody just said about it may not happen in a small town, it would happen in a big area like Houston. I'll tell you, it works better in a small town.
I was going to say, like, yeah.
It does. It really does. It works better in a small town than it does in a big town. Your Facebook ads have a much larger reach. The systems work. I mean, we've done 2 other offices or 2 other locations here, and they work. The systems work.
So, guys, I wish I had one of my other students on here in a small town so they could jump in. Understand, guys, too, it's not just FSBOs, expireds, that stuff, guys. It's your past people. It's your leads. It's just making contact, right? It's with all these systems and everything, you can't forget the touch that personal has, that voice has. That, guys, think of it like this, okay? When I send a text, or you send a text, or we send a whatever, there's a certain amount, an email or whatever, there's a certain amount of effect that has. But the thing is, you can't tell my email from Mark's email. It's the exact same font. There's no differentiating factor, okay? And that's why video is so powerful, because when they see your face, it's much more difficult to turn this down than it is to turn this down. Right. And even your voice when you're talking to them, and now that's a differentiating factor when you talk to them and they hear you, and it's a person, and that's why it's so much more effective, because it's a differentiating factor. So no matter how big or small you are, you can't overlook that, okay? And I think for this system, and I'm just giving another one, for the Mojo system, I think you pay like $139 a month.
Like that.
Or something like that. So it's just, and again, though, it's not about the $139 a month you spend. It's about how much would you be giving up if you didn't, right? It's how much you'd lose by not having it. But it's just a step-by-step thing.
Yeah.
Let's talk about actual conversions. Let's talk about CRM and systems for following up with people and doing that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And as we start going into this, guys, what I need you to understand is this, and please take a lot of notes right now, because you know, we can't go in and go, this is how you source, and this is how you, that's for the customer support for your CRM. But what's going to happen is that all of your leads from all of your different sources, whether it's Facebook, whether it's Zillow, whether it's Realtor.com, whether it's direct targeted marketing, whether it's prospecting, whether it's whatever it happens to be, what's going to happen is they're all going to go into this funnel that enters into your CRM, okay? CRMs in today's world, and CRM, for anybody that doesn't know, is Contact Relationship Manager, Customer Relationship Manager, okay? And it's the place where all of your contacts are kept, where your systems are run through, and we're going to show you the back end and how this works and such. But every CRM today that is a valid CRM is able to do the steps I'm about to go through, which is when a contact goes into your CRM, the first thing that has to happen is that that contact has to automatically be tagged by the source that it came from, okay? So if it comes from Zillow, if it comes from Listings to Leads, if it comes from wherever it happens to come from, the APIs connect and it sources it and it tags it automatically, okay? Now understand that as I'm talking about this right now, this may be foreign to you because you haven't been using a CRM, it doesn't make sense to you, it just doesn't. What I need you to understand is that whether you get it or not, it works, and it's not difficult. Just as sure, I'm not really sure how when I flip that switch, all of a sudden these lights go on and off. I can't explain to you how electricity works. It's kind of mind-boggling and crazy when you think about it. But I know when I flip that, it happens, okay? And so that's what has to happen as we start moving into lead follow-up with your CRM. You don't necessarily have to understand how APIs are connecting. But once you make the decision to actually start utilizing or starting with a CRM, you've got to take the time, the 30 minutes, with the support of that CRM to actually set it up so that the various lead sources that are going to come in are going to be, step one, automatically tagged according to source. And it's not a difficult thing. Every CRM does it. Whether you understand it right now or not, they'll help you set it up. Number two, we're going to show you this in Mark's back end here. The second thing that has to happen is that according to that tag for source, the appropriate system is going to be applied. So if it's coming from a source that's a seller lead, the appropriate system follow-up is automatically going to be applied, the long-term follow-up. If it's coming from a buyer lead landing page, the automatic system is automatically going to be applied. So before we go into Mark's back in here, you have to understand that you have to do one of two things. You either have to take the time on your CRM to step-by-step set up the action plan that's going to happen for the next 24 months that you can connect to those leads, or if you use what we talked about earlier, and Rachel, if you could repost this, the CRM that I recommend, Wise Agent, if you go to www.wiseagent.com/Jared James, Rachel just put it into the chat over there. Price doesn't change. You get 30 days for free, and all of my follow-up systems that I created for all of you with all the different types of leads that come in are already in there. All you have to do is when you sign up, get on the phone with customer support, and they will show you how to quickly set it up so that every lead that comes in gets sourced correctly, gets tagged correctly, and gets automatically assigned to the right system. And once that is done one time, you never have to do it again. Like with what Mark's about to show you in his back-end CRM, he doesn't have to set it up again. The leads come in, they automatically source, and they automatically get attached to the proper follow-up system. Okay? So I need everybody to understand that. Step one, tag by the source, according to the source they come in by. Step two, if you're taking notes, according to that source tag, they are assigned to the appropriate follow-up system. Okay? And step three is now the actual follow-up happens because that lead is either going to come to you if you're an individual, regardless of what kind of lead it was, or if you have a team. Again, the average CRM, they'll show you how to do it, will show you how to round-robin those leads to your team members according to when they come in, according to price range, according to location, according to all these things. That's not something we want to step-by-step right now because that's customer support with your CRM, but just know that's the process. Tag by source, according to the sources tagged by, appropriate system is applied, and now the real follow-up with you begins once that lead comes to you. Now you're picking up the phone, okay? So Mark, if we could show them some of the back end of your CRM,
sure.
Can you kind of show them what kind of a automatic follow-up campaign your people automatically get assigned to,
Yeah,
and then
absolutely.
give an example of a lead comes into one of your agents, they make a phone call. How are they keeping appropriate notes and keeping follow-up going?
Yeah, 100%. All right. Yeah, let me share the screen with you guys real fast. There we go. All
By the way,
right.
while he's doing that, Maria, absolutely, Wise Agent automates the drip communication based on the tag. That's what I mean. Too many people right now are paying for a CRM and not understanding how it fully works. You need to take the half hour, get on a support call, set everything up once. Like, this is the foundation of your business, the systems, what are going to hold you up for the next 15 years, 20 years. Just like the foundation on a home isn't the most sexy thing to do, but it holds that house up for the next 100 years. You've got to get on with them, set it up one time for all the different sources you have coming in, and it's done. That's
Right.
it.
Right. And so this is our CRM.
Real quick, one more thing, Mark.
Yep.
Lynn said, I'm already a Wise Agent client. Can I get Jared's follow-up system, if not a new sign-up? Lynn, if you signed up through wiseagent.com/Jared James, they're in your marketing. Again, call them. They'll show you. If not, and you didn't, call Wise Agent. Tell them you're a Jared James student. They will switch your Wise Agent account over to the one that has my follow-ups. Okay? No problem. I'm sorry, Mark. Go ahead.
That's okay. And so you just want me to give a quick overview of just how the leads come in and what we do.
Show me a lead. Show me like a follow-up system that would get applied automatically, and then show me in a lead when it comes in what happens and how you guys could update the fact that you called it and such.
Yeah.
And if the screen's a little fuzzy, guys, I apologize. That's internet connection. Sometimes on our end, sometimes on your end. Sorry about that.
Are you good now? Can you see the screen okay?
Yep. And Tim, by the way, I wish they did a training like this. I hear you, man, but just call them and handle it one-on-one. They'll take care of all our people. And Chris said I just did that today, and they were awesome. And someone else asked, what is Matt? It's not Matt, it's Mark. Mark is using Commissions Inc., which is just another company that does websites, back-end CRM. There's a lot of them like it, but that's what he's using right now.
So the way that we have it set up, so when leads come into the system, whether they come through like the Facebook here or from our PPC that we run, and again, what I would tell you guys is some of you are asking questions about PPC, and I would say let the experts handle the PPC. Whoever you're going through with your CRM or your PPC manager, like Commissions or the there's millions of them out there, let them handle it as long as you're getting some good responses. So I would say that's a train you could spend a whole lot of money on.
And by the way, PPC, guys, is the thing that usually you're going to do other lead sources first until you have the money to put into PPC. But we're just giving you another example because we have so many different levels of people on here, and the ROI for Mark is amazing, but you got to have some money to invest into it.
So let me show you what happens. So a lead comes in here, and they actually get contacted by our inside sales people, or they get contacted by the agent that it gets assigned to, and then what they do is they come in here and they tag them appropriately. So when they spoke with this person, it was a good number. The buyer is a long-term nurturer. She's not planning to buy in the next 3 to 6 months. She's 12 months or so out, so we've tagged her appropriately, and she's going to fall into the drip campaign that we've set up now with Happy Grasshopper, and we put into the back end here of Commissions to where it can automatically send out some follow-up emails. This one's another lead that has a little bit more information about the notes and activities. So when the lead comes in the back,
it tells you what properties they viewed. It tells you when the last time they logged in. It tells you all of that kind of stuff.
That's right. And so we've tagged them with good number. She's a hot lead. We know exactly what property she's viewed, and then here are the notes. But my agent Gail spoke to this client just yesterday, I guess is what it was. Is today the 14th? And spoke to her. She's looking to buy a home in the next 5 to 6 months, $315,000. And here's the information. Here's her social profile, and all that good stuff. In case maybe you might know some friends or have some acquaintances that know her, right?
And then how would you set up like the next thing that's going to happen, the next follow-up call that's going to happen, the next and by the way, guys, it's pretty similar in every system, so we're just giving you an example of his.
Yeah, so here we're able to go to, on this notes and activity, I know that we need to follow up with this person. She's 5 to 6 months out, so what I would do is go in here and set up a reminder, add a new reminder, and I would say I need to call 5 to 6 months out, serious buyer. And then I would say to remind me to call her in about 2 weeks just to check in to make sure that the properties that we're sending her are what they enjoy or what she likes. We'll assign it to whatever agent is there and then set the alert.
And by the way, guys, what I want everybody to understand too, because people are always like, in our coaching program, when we talk about hour of power and when to call and prospecting, they're like, who do I call? A lot of it is being set up by this because you're creating reminders for yourself. You're creating call setups for 2 weeks after. You're creating, and then what happens is every day during your prospecting, which is not just calling FSBOs expireds, it's calling your past people, calling leads, calling whatever. What's essentially happening is that when you open up your CRM, it's telling you that day, here's who you need to contact, here's your last point of contact, here's why you're contacting them, here's whatever it happens to be, and it's another system. That's allowing you to
automatically, I mean, a lot of them will automatically, like this one, will automatically send you a text alert. It has an app on the iPhone or Android, and you can get an email notifying you of a task to call somebody back. It works with our Gmail, Outlook, or our calendars, and so it all helps to keep the agents on task. No leads really fall to the system. I think one thing I was telling you about, Jared, before was that we have some leads in the system that are 3 and 4 years old. That
Can you show those? Because that is actually a point I wanted to make with people, is that one of the things almost all CRMs do, especially ones that are connected to websites, is that they will actually show you when was the last time that person logged in. And so one of the things you can do from a prospecting perspective is go into your CRM and go and look, or your back end of your website, and see when was who were the last people to log in, because those are your hottest contacts. Those are the people you need to contact right away. And in your case, you showed this earlier today. There was somebody who logged in yesterday that registered for the site like 4 years ago.
Yeah, 1,350 days ago is when she registered, and she just logged in again today, or 1 day ago, and she's still looking at houses. I mean, she's viewed 121 homes, and we've sent her several emails, and communication is there, and we have all the notes, and we just drip campaigns go out to her with a little bit of information. And we had good conversation, and we're sending her homes, and she loves to keep getting them. And so we know what homes she's getting and how many searches are going out, and it's going out to her every single day of the homes that she prefers. And so we just stay on that with a long-term drip campaign, long-term nurture. The emails keep going out to them. It automatically will send text messages from the system as well, and it helps to make our job easy. You know,
right, so here's an important thing. So as you're doing that right there, I want people to understand as well. So he's using Commissions Inc., but again, all of the ones we recommend and other ones pretty much can do the same things. Like any CRM in today's world can do all of these things. Most of you just don't realize that yours can do them. Okay, but another point that I wanted to bring up really quickly, but we're not going to spend a ton of time on it right now. Is that, again, there's various levels and various ways to handle things at different levels. Mark actually, as part of his systems, also has in-house ISAs, Internet or Inside Sales Associates, that call within 5 minutes immediately and just follow up with leads, follow up with leads, follow up with leads constantly. But another thing that Mark does that is, something we'll talk about more probably at our Mastermind in a couple weeks in New Orleans for the higher level people, is you actually employ an ISA out of the Philippines.
Right.
Their only job is to take all those bad numbers that come in, the leads that come in with bad emails because someone was typing quick or they were on their phone and they put .con instead of .com, and usually that would just be a bad lead that people would lose. He pays a lady in the Philippines $90 a week who her only job is to take the bad leads and to go online, search that person, and make them a good lead. Get the correct email, get the correct phone number, get the correct. And now he doesn't lose all of those really great leads,
right?
That you paid for, you paid to get.
And they screen out the trash.
Take advantage of.
Yeah, and they screen out the trash. If it's just a fake email address and fake phone numbers, they go ahead and get those leads out of the system. That way, when the agents and the other folks are actually making the calls, they're calling real numbers, real folks.
And guys, I hope you understand that we are literally skipping over right now like a ton of higher level information just because we don't want to lose everybody. There's some of you, we'll talk to you about the end about an opportunity we have as far as, to show you how to do that, to structure yourself like a business. We just don't want to lose everybody on this call with some of the higher end systems that you run with your team. But yes, there is more to it, but at the basic level, what we just showed you is something that every single person can do with their Wise Agent account, with their Commissions Inc. account, with their whatever CRM they happen to be using, their top producer account. We just don't recognize that it's there, but we have to take the time to actually set it up. Guys, and this is the important point, and you could tell I'm kind of passionate about this because I see really good agents not getting out of their business what they should. I see really good agents getting stressed out beyond belief. I see really good agents not performing on their potential because they're simply not taking the time to one time set up their systems.
Yeah.
So utterly ridiculous, it ticks me off because it would make such a difference. The amount of money people are throwing away is crazy, okay? Now, the other system I want to talk about with you right now is a system you use to track your vendors, the ROI on your vendors.
Right.
And so one of the things that Mark does, guys, and we're going to show this to you, is that Mark actually keeps track with a form he uses, and we're going to figure out how to get this done and send it to you guys. But if you stick around to the end, but Mark actually tracks how many leads he gives to each vendor, to his mortgage people, to his title people, to whoever it happens to be, and what % of that business they close, and how much money that made them. And you do that, Mark, because, and again, guys, we're going to explain how you do this legally, because many of those people end up paying for his marketing. So a lot of you are going, well, I can't afford to do marketing like Mark. Okay, there's a pun. Well, he has a lot of his marketing being paid for by his vendors because he works with them as partners. So you are not allowed, according to the RESPA laws, to take money from vendors, like have them pay you and do those kinds of things. But when you're a partner and you keep track of how much money that you are sending to these people, lender partners and others, explain to them what you do, Mark.
Yeah.
And tell them where you started, by the way, and tell them where you are now.
Yeah. So, where we started, again, 3 years in, spending a whole lot of money on systems, not real profitable. Finally got some stuff dialed in and started having some, trying to go out and get some partners that we like to work with. So, of course, we qualified these folks and made sure that they were good. We wanted to make sure they fit with us and worked hard with us. And we went out to them and had been sending them business. And we said, look, we've been sending you guys a ton of leads, a ton of clients who wanted to get pre-approved, especially to our lender, for a long time. Sorry, I thought you were talking to me, Jared. But for a long time. And we'd like you guys to start helping a little bit. We're not asking you guys to do everything for us, but we'd like a little bit of help, maybe do some co-marketing together and to help cover some of the costs of the marketing. And of course, at that time, they say, well, we provide good service or what have you. They're going to hem-haw around and not really want to do it. And that's what happened with us. We had a lender who did a great job, but we needed a partner, not just somebody who wanted us to send them business, but somebody who wanted to partner with us and help us to do more business. And so what we ended up doing was going to them and started to doing the co-marketing and said, look, if you'll come along with us and partner up, we could do double the marketing and spend double the money. And so what they do is they work directly with our vendors. So Commissions Inc. Sends them a bill every month for part of the marketing. So I just want to
make sure everybody understands that. The difference is that Mark does not collect a check for them, does not collect payment from them because that is not allowed. What they do, since they're a partner, and everybody who comes through, for example, Commissions Inc., goes to that vendor, that's actually their lead that they're going to get, is that vendor pays Commissions Inc. directly. When Mark is doing Facebook advertising for specific seller or buyer leads, the vendor that's going to benefit from those seller or buyer leads puts their credit card into the Facebook ads and pays for it directly and then gets every lead that comes off of that ad. And so Mark is not collecting money from these people. He's partnering with these people, and in turn, whatever they partner with, they get the leads from. That's why they're true partners, and you're not breaking any kind of RESPA laws.
Yeah.
How much money are you getting per month right now from various vendors? Are you allowed to say, like total, around about? What's going towards your marketing?
Yeah, it covers a lot of the marketing. Let's say that.
A lot of marketing, so it's a lot of money. Let's just put it that way. Okay. And you started smaller. Yep. And then as you were able to track and show your vendors that, look, I make you 10 grand a month. I want this much. And otherwise, I'm going to move on to someone else if we don't partner up on this and whatever. That gave you the leverage because you actually had the data to show them, here's what's happening.
And that's when everything changed. When you can actually when we were tracking exactly how many leads in this system, and like I could show you in the back end of commissions that we were in a minute ago, one of the tags that we can add to these buyer leads and seller leads is a tag that says needs pre-approval. At that time, the lender partners immediately tagged to call this client because they need pre-approval. But we can track that now, and so we track exactly how many leads we're sending to the lender, if the lender has good conversion or not, and we can know exactly how many we close with which partner. So that way we can go to them and tell them, okay, we know that as a lender you make about 1.5% profit off of a deal. We know how much profit we've provided you in the last quarter or last 2 quarters or last year. And look, this is a lot of free stuff we're sending you, and we'd sure like a little bit of help to extend our marketing. And so we didn't diminish or back off on what we were spending.
Yeah.
They literally came along and partnered with us, and we kept going.
And Mark, more importantly too, for you, what that did too was that it allowed you to keep track also which one of your vendors were converting.
That's right.
Which ones were you wasting leads with? Because you would
100%.
see I've sent them this many and they've only converted this many people, where someone else in the same area, I've given them this much and they converted this many. And so when you started tracking, one of the byproducts of that is that you found out vendors you shouldn't be working with because they're not closing, and therefore it's costing you money.
Right.
So you actually switched some of your vendors because you found people who were actually able to convert those clients and get them pre-approvals and get them into homes
at a
higher rate, because it wasn't just about who you liked, it was about the numbers, the data.
Yeah, and people are asking, do we have other vendors yet besides lenders? Yes, everything you can think of, inspectors, handymen, everything. Lenders, surveyors, whomever you're going to continuously send a business to, if they can join in on the marketing with you.
Guys, I want to really quickly here, I'm going to tell you guys about something, and then we're going to go back into a couple things here. We'll stay here as late as you guys want. You guys don't have to hang out longer than you want, but we're going to go into a couple more things, and then we're going to sit here and answer every question you want. We'll go into as much detail as you want. We'll show you back-end systems if you want. Just get your questions ready. You can start sending them in. I do want to tell you guys, though, so I know that a lot of times you watch something like this, and it can get a little bit overwhelming, or even for a lot of people it gives you, like, you get really excited because you're like, I need that, I want to do that, I want to let you know there's a couple things that we do offer, and we're mentioning on this webinar because it's so time specific, that are amazing opportunities for some of the people on this call, okay? The first one is really for a small percentage of the people on this call. It's not for everyone, and that's that in 2.5 weeks, Mark and I on August 2nd and August 3rd are going to have a small group with us in New Orleans, where we're doing our mastermind. And we're going to be sitting with a small group of people with their computers open 2 straight days in a suite, setting up their business to actually be a business, okay, and setting up all the higher end stuff. This is not for people that are trying to go from 15 to 20 transactions. This is for people that actually want to create a predictable, replicable business that eventually is not just built around them. Mark just hired a president of his company, okay? Mark has taken this same model he follows with some of the higher end stuff we didn't really talk about on this call today, and he just replicated it and opened up an office in Tampa. He replicated it and had his business partner open up an office in Toronto, where 6 months in, with a guy who's never sold residential real estate, he's at $28 million in sales volume, okay?
28 million.
Yeah, it's just a matter of following the system and putting the right stuff in place. Now, that is not a cheap event, and I think we only have, like, 1 or 2 spots left after our webinar earlier. That's a $5,000 investment. Again, it's not for everyone, but for the right person, that is the cheapest event and the most valuable event you're ever going to attend, because it's going to be that thing that allows you to stop being the person running a job and running around like crazy and making a living to actually running a company that becomes a saleable asset by sitting in the room with your computer open, asking questions and implementing from somebody who's absolutely doing it right now, and can show you exactly how that's done without confusing the masses of people on this call right now. So that's first come, first serve. When you click on that offer over to the side, that's going to bring you to a page where you have 2 options. You either pay the $5K and you're in, or you fill out for a consult. We'll try to get that consult in right away, because literally that's about to close out, and Rachel's on here. She knows that that's very true. So you take a chance by doing that, but that's about to close out, okay, just because we can only put so many people in that suite. And it's my favorite event to do because it's like the life-changing, you know, that's the really good one. On that same page, for those of you that mastermind doesn't apply, but you just know that there's a lot of stuff we talked about today that you need help with, that your business would look a lot better if you had someone to show you and hold you accountable and make you do. On that same page, if you scroll down, there's information on our one-on-one coaching. I'll personally do a consult with you if you fill that out, if you're serious. Okay, it starts at $4.99 a month, and then there's different programs from there. Again, best value you ever spend compared to what transactions are worth, and that. There's virtual coaching to look into for some of you that are newer.
There were folks at the There were folks at the Mastermind, you were saying, in return on investment, the ROI, that actually were setting listing appointments while they were in the room.
Oh, you know what? I'll show that. I don't know why I didn't show that. I'll show that. But on that same page too, guys, all this Facebook stuff we talked about, if you want us to do it, we have a department that creates seller leads for you off of there, that creates buyers off of your listings, promoting them. We do all that for you. If you want to do a free consult, it's on that page. Just fill it out. I'm glad you said that, man, because I actually wasn't even going to show that. Here's an example. Here's somebody who came to our last mastermind, and she said, I just wanted to give you a quick update. I'm the one that went to the mastermind and ended up with tons of leads and some listings from the Facebook promotion Jared taught us there. Well, it's closing week. All of those deals that started that week in February are closing one by one with super happy sellers, excited buyers, and an office full of thankful agents. So these ideas equal money.
Yeah.
And she basically is somebody that while we were there in that room showing her what to do, she set up 7 listing appointments while she was there that she never would have had.
But first she
went home and set up 3 more.
But she fought us on the deal, saying this will never work, and it'll never work in my small town of South Dakota. And it immediately started to work, and she had to end up rushing home because of how many deals she needed to go on.
Mark, look at this. This is what she sent me. This is what she sent me, I think, yesterday or 2 days ago, yesterday, something like that. She said, I interviewed her for our students, and she said, our call yesterday re-inspired me to run one of the ads we did at the Mastermind. Kick-ass listing appointment tomorrow afternoon because of it.
Yeah.
Like,
the
stuff just works, okay?
Yeah.
So that's an opportunity for the ones of you that want to get serious and just say, that's it, I'm taking this serious, let's go. Either pay for it, you're in, or fill out for a free consult. You and I will talk as long as it doesn't book out before then. The coaching side, I want to show you guys one more thing from the coaching side, and then we're going to go into some more questions with you guys and go into some more value for you guys here. This was a message that was sent to me a couple weeks ago from one of our coaching students, Peggy. She said, Jared, I can't thank you enough. 2 years ago, I was in a slump. I joined your coaching and did over 50 units last year. I would say my slump went into a jump. Thanks a million.
Yeah.
I think her $4.99 a month or $9.99 a month or whatever program she was in ended up being well worth it for her. And the last one I'll show you, just because a lot of times it helps people here to see things, is this one from a guy who joined our marketing, I think, a few weeks ago. And he said, if you're not taking advantage of Jared James' marketing program, and this is the one that creates seller leads and stuff for people, I suggest you do. I joined last week. I received 10 leads and converted 2 of them into appointments. Was I nervous about calling? Most definitely. Did I practice the seller scripts like shooting basketballs? Most definitely. Thank you, Jared James and your marketing team. Now it's time to convert those appointments into listings. Hope everyone's having a great day. Okay?
Yeah.
So that's all I want to show you with that, guys. I'm not going to put a huge push on you here. We're going to start answering your questions and giving you as much value as possible. But if you hit the offers over there on the side, you're going to see all on that page the Mastermind for the few of you that want to really go to the next level and build a company, one-on-one coaching consults, virtual coaching, and marketing. If you have any questions about those as we're here, go for it. But I think now, man, we're just going to take the time right now and answer as many questions as possible. Maria, and so guys, just start sending them in. Maria, is there a contract for one-on-one coaching? Yes, it's a 12-month agreement. And the reason for that is that people get on with me, they get really excited, and they know they need to change. Our job is to make you uncomfortable and make you do things you don't want to do. But the truth is, you're addicted to the way you do things. And so right around month 2, you're going to be going, I just want to go back to the way I was doing it. And because you know you're committed, you're going to keep listening to your coach. And around month 3 or 4, you're going to go, thank God I kept doing that. That's what we do for people, okay? Someone wrote, one-on-one coaching is a must if you want to be successful, worth every penny you'll pay. My coach helps me with listings to leads and Wise Agent, best investment I ever made. Lynn, that's awesome. Thank you so much. Let me see, guys. Let me see what other kind of questions I have here. CRMs are important. Absolutely. Guys, by the way, because I saw someone write in here, if you go to the page, because we get a little overloaded with this many people on here and there's an error or anything, just reload the page. There's just a lot of people that are going to that page, okay? It's just the reality of how many people are on here. Kathy, I'm not ready for the mastermind yet, but soon. Can't wait. It's going to be great. What does ROI mean? Return on investment. It means I spend this, but I'm going to get this much more. If I spend $10 and I get 100 back, that means I got 10 times investment, 10 times what I invested. If I had to start somewhere, what is the first thing you do? I'd get a CRM and get my system set up. It does you no good to create lead lines and lead generating stuff if you don't have a funnel or a system for them to go into.
Jared, can I jump in on that one? Is that okay?
Go.
So one thing that I always tell a lot of new agents that come to me and ask what they should do, and I help folks even if they don't join me in my team here, is I just let them know, look, don't get caught in the trap of spending a ton of money and going into massive debt. What I would tell you is you can do a lot of this with low overhead. Like I said, you start with the things that Jared talked about with the circle prospecting, using the Mojo dialer to be able to call and send letters around the neighborhoods. The scripts or the Word docs that Jared already has out there for you guys. Templates. That's what I'm trying to think of. The word templates.
Got this.
Yeah, templates that Jared already has for that kind of stuff. That's cost you the amount of the stamp to send it to the envelope. I can't even talk. The cost of an envelope and a stamp. There you go.
It's crazy, man. Everybody's trying to get everything free, and it's like, look, there's a cost of doing business. If you want to be successful, there's a cost to do it.
Right, and so you could do that. Work on expireds, work on for sale by owners, work on your sphere of influence, the core 100, working with your partners, and I mean that kind of stuff is easy and cheap. And starting your Facebook ads and value ads, that's cheap and easy. And then you build from there. You get a lead generation site and like the commissions that I have, or the
we're launching one in 3 months.
Yeah, that's right. And so whatever you need to do, you do a CRM with a PPC and grow from there.
Hey, couple questions. Somebody asked, what kind of tags are you using in your CRM?
Yeah, I mean, let me sling back over here. So let's see. Sorry, there we go. So for instance, if we want to add some labels here, we have A buyer, B buyer, C buyer. We've got bad phone number, good email, good number, hot lead, lender approved, long-term nurture, needs pre-approval, A seller, B seller, C seller. We have some for unrealistic. Some of my agents made one yesterday calling some bad names, and I had to delete it. But that way we can actually go in here and track anytime we want out of all of these leads that are in the system, which leads we want to speak to. So if my lender, for instance, wanted to pull up just leads that were marked that needed pre-approval, give me 1 second here. And so, give me right here, labels, needs pre-approval. There's 178 leads that we've tagged in here that are ready to be pre-approved buyers.
Crazy, man. So guys, you can see there's a lot of different tags to use, and you're gonna little by little you add those. But I saw a question come in here, guys. Some of you just literally have to take the leap and meet us in New Orleans, like August 2nd, August 3rd. It's a $5,000 investment, but you want to get your business set up the way that Mark has it, then you have to be there firsthand, see it, and have a hand doing it, because on your own you're going to have a lot of difficulty doing that without seeing it and seeing how it works and being able to ask those in-depth questions, whatever. But those are the difference, guys, between people who end up being the top producers in the marketplace and the ones that don't, are the ones that get serious and actually go and learn from what needs to be done that they don't see in their own marketplace, that you don't see other people doing that. That's how you dominate, period, So we had other questions here. Let me see. I want to make sure I answer them in order. Is there a way to get cell phone numbers? Many people don't have landlines now. Guys, our marketing department that creates leads for people, we actually have a lead converter upgrade. It's an additional $89 a month. And basically 65 to 75% of all the leads that come in, even if they only give an address or something like that, it still pulls their emails, their cell phones, their social profiles, all these other things. So yeah, there are tools that do that, and it's a smart way to think, because I always say the best way to catch a lot of fish is to fish in a different part of the pond, and so if where nobody else is fishing. And so if everybody's in the same place getting an address from somebody who's trying to get their home valuation, but one of those people has their cell phone, their social profiles, their names, their emails, their whatever, guess who's got a much better chance of winning that client over, okay? Just remember, one of our coaches always says, Sean, he always says that, look, the harder people are to find, the easier they are to list.
Yeah.
Because if they're hard for you, they're hard for everyone else. But when you have that kind of an upgrade that pulls that info, it makes it a lot easier for you, okay? Were you going to say something, or should I go to another question?
No, I was gonna go over a little bit more about what you were talking about, but you already covered it.
All right, so then someone else asked here, should I just lost it. Oh, listings to leads. Is that something that should be done with Wise Agent? Yeah, listings to leads actually completely integrates right in with Wise Agent. So absolutely, like those leads will automatically be added to your Wise Agent account. You just, again, you got to have them show you how to set it up one time, okay? Even things like the Mojo Dialer that Mark talked about integrates with your Wise Agent, integrates with other systems, and they automatically pull those leads in. Like, you know, this stuff is not as difficult as you guys think it is. It's just that you're not doing it. It's just that you've been learning from people who built a business in 1984, and you're trying to do it in 2016 using their model. And it's like, look, you wouldn't take a horse and buggy to get to the airport, you know? Like you get in a car. It's 2016. And that's the stuff that we're trying to teach you. That's the stuff we do in one-on-one. That's the stuff on a higher level we do at Mastermind. But that's really what we're trying to do with you guys, okay? Right. Someone said, what is the Core 100? Sorry, I'm newer. Guys, it's the cheapest, most inexpensive way to grow your referral business and otherwise. Rather than go into a 17-minute description of what the Core 100 is, what I'm going to tell you to do is go to YouTube. If you go to YouTube and you put in Jared James Core 100, CORE 100, you'll see a video on there of me explaining it, 100% free. Just go watch it. All of you, by the way, should be at youtube.com/Jared James today. You should be subscribed on that channel. I put out a ton of free stuff. You should all be on that, but that's another thing you can check out there, okay?
When somebody asked a minute ago, what if I just wanted like 100 leads continuous coming in? You know, how much are we thinking you would have to spend? And that's what I was, so for instance in Tampa, I opened the office in, do I?
It's just math.
Yeah, it's just math. And so we know that our cost per lead is around $8.50 for a buyer lead. And so in Tampa, we needed 100 leads.
$850.
Right. We knew what we needed to spend in PPC. We turned it on. We targeted it. And we literally just fired Tampa up in 2 months, or 2 months ago. The PPC and everything went live 30 days ago. And we have 6 listings already and over 4 buyers. And now, one thing that my partner in Tampa always told me, Aaron would say, there's no way that there's ever going to be $1 million buyer coming in off of PPC or a Facebook site or something like that. And I kept telling him it happens all the time, and he didn't believe me. And then I showed him the back end of our system where we just had hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people that came in with 750,000 or higher in a lead source. And the funny thing is that he got a seller like that very next day for $1.3 million listing and a $850,000 listing. I don't know how many buyers in the $350,000 range or higher, and so
right.
The system works
because of his seller lead generation system. That it was happening no matter what. That's the bottom line. They said, do you share your system with your business partners, lenders, attorneys? And the answer to that is yes. Mark actually, and he can give them appropriate access, so they're not admins. They can't go look at people's transactions, but he can give them the appropriate access where they can update files and stuff.
And then commissions when a lead comes in, and you need to add, if you have a team and you're actually going to start using this for a team or what have you, that's one question. You want to be able to make sure that you can somehow get those leads over to those team members or get them access to log in as well, like a login for you. Yep. But it comes in and it routes automatically based upon some criteria that I have in place. Some agents only want certain price points. Some agents are better than others, and so I go in there and I can set it to where in the back end it sends some people higher priced buyers, higher priced sellers. Maybe it sends my better agents more leads than it would send a new agent. And so all that's routed in there, and it goes to, assigns which lender we want to use and all that good stuff.
Tina said, does a website matter with all of this? And the answer is yes and no, meaning that there are some things that a website's not going to matter with some of the targeted marketing you do. But things like PPC and stuff, it absolutely matters because you have to have a website that has the ability to have forced registration, okay,
Right.
which a lot of websites don't have. And so when you start looking at the types of websites that are out there and such, one of the biggest mistakes that a lot of people make is that they create complete vanity websites that are all about them, that are just all about their team, and all about them isn't even all about your site. Needs to be very like search friendly. Like that's what they're there for. It's not about you, it's about what are they there for. They are there to search. Like give them the ability to search, find the properties they want. That's how you capture people.
I'll show you. I mean, let me do a screen share, and I'll just show you what ours would look like without. It doesn't have anything really of us as far as pictures at all.
By the way, most people would look at your site and be like, "Oh, that's nothing special." It's search. That's what it is. Show if you can go ahead and show them your site.
It's loading. So this is all it is. They come to this site off of a Google or Bing or Yahoo or Facebook ad, and they land here, and they get to view some listings. They can search by map if they want to, but they just put some information in.
But Mark, I don't even see a picture of you.
Nothing. Nothing at all.
They don't care. Like, it's about their search. It's not about us.
That's all they want is info. That's all they want.
Awesome. What's the URL for Mojo Dialer? Guys, I'm not sure. Just go into Google and put in Mojo Dialer. It'll come up. MojoSells.com, Rachel just said. Yeah. Could you repeat your YouTube URL? Rachel, you already put it up. It's youtube.com/Jared James Today. Guys, the easiest thing to do is right below me right here. How do I do this? Let me see. Close enough. Connectwithjared.com. You can click on the YouTube thing there and go. Snapchat, I'm getting a lot of snaps from you guys. You better be on Snapchat, guys. It's where everybody's going right now. Snapchat, both Facebook fan page and business page. Twitter, Instagram. I do a lot on Instagram. Just go to connectwithjared.com and connect on all those different platforms there.
Jared are asking about the questions about my partner in Toronto, and somebody wants me to open a brokerage in what is it? Napu? Is that how you pronounce it? Anyways, but if they have questions, they can go to the Mark Maniha Real Estate Experts Facebook page and send me some questions there if they need to get in contact with me as well.
Just so everybody understands, because someone asked, is Mark a broker now? Yes, Mark is a broker now, but he operates his brokerage like a team.
I do.
The only reason Mark went to a brokerage opposed to staying with where he was before is because he collects his commissions now. Like he had a system that didn't matter where he was. So although it's technically a brokerage, he operates like a team, period. Buyer, agent, seller, like the whole thing. Okay, would you agree with that, Mark?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and it depends on the culture. I mean, you want to make sure that regardless of where you're at, whether you're an independent broker or you're an agent at another brokerage, you want to make sure that brokerage is cutting edge. I mean, they're okay with you using this stuff. If your broker is shutting you down from doing this type of stuff, you need to find another broker. Because real estate's completely changed. It's not the same as what it was 3 years ago. And if you're going to keep doing the stuff that you were doing 3 and 4 and 5 years ago, you'll be out of business in a couple of years.
Yeah.
That's just how it is. So I would tell you that get a brokerage that's cutting edge and that is okay with using the new ways of doing real estate.
Someone asked, is Wise Agent better for individual or team? That's kind of what the things we were trying to say this whole broadcast today is, look, it doesn't matter. You do it according to what you are. So it's great for both. So when we're showing you systems where something's getting round robin to a team member and then they're doing this specific follow-up, the only difference is if you're an individual, it's not round robin to anybody. It's just coming to you and you're doing the follow-up. But then as you grow, it gets round robin to another team member. The principle remains. It's just a matter of the extra system of going to somebody else or staying with you. But it works for individuals and teams. It makes no difference. The systems don't change. It's just a matter of whether it's getting round robin or not. Guys, we're going to be closing soon here, so if you have questions, get them in here. I have a market leader site and don't really like it. What website do you suggest? I'm not a market leader fan at all. In fact, they've kind of had their funding pulled from them. Like the fact that you're still using that is that's a sinking ship. Let's just put it that way. From some of the stuff I know from behind the scenes. So, right now you use Commissions Inc. Guys, in about 2 to 3 months, we'll be taking beta testers for a company we're launching that'll be doing sites and everything for people to make them affordable, but do the kind of things you need. On a cheap end, there's things like Playster. There's Real Geeks, there's Commissions Inc. like Mark uses, there's REW, Real Estate Webmasters. There's a lot of different places out there. You got to find the one that fits your budget and does the things you need, and then you grow from there. You know, Mark, you didn't always use Commissions Inc. You jumped around to find the one that you were comfortable with.
I did.
So it's like anything else. You know, it's like spouses. Like certain people mix with certain people, you know, and then someone else is looking at that going, I don't know how the hell she's married to him.
I thought you were going to talk about it's like jumping around until you find the one you want. It's like spouses.
It's like spouses. No, it sounds like a Jerry J. Seinfeld routine. No, but it's the truth, right? Like some people just fit together, and like you look at them and you go, how the heck does that work? Like I would jab myself in the eye.
Yeah.
They work together, you know. The thing is the same. It's marriage.
Yeah.
But at the same time, for them, it works. And it's the same thing when it comes to websites and these kinds of things. Like, they all kind of do the same stuff. They kind of all have the back-end CRM, and they kind of have, you know, that kind of stuff. Which one do you mesh with? You know, which one do you like? You're muted right now, Mark.
Yep.
There you are, you're back.
Yep, sorry. I hit the wrong button.
How many people on Mark's team, they just asked?
Yeah, so I've got a total of 8 agents that work with me now. Some are listing agents, some are buyers.
In your one office, not the ones you've branched out to now in other places.
Yeah, just in Houston.
Okay, awesome. Somebody said, how often do you snap? Me? I snap like 4, 5, 6, 7 times a day, depending on whatever. Guys, it's less than 10 seconds. That whole idea that it's time consuming, like 90% of the people that follow me see everything I do on here, okay? It's connection. It's everybody gets so caught up in these platforms. You know, I did a YouTube video, again, on Snapchat. You should go watch it. We get so caught up on platforms. Oh, I don't want a platform to change. People are moving off of Facebook and Instagram and going to Snapchat. I don't want to go to a new platform. Guys, they're not platforms. Those platforms are people, right? Like, that's who's on the other end of these.
Right.
So your business relies on, let's all say it together, people, okay? So if people want to go to a new platform where now you're going to be able to interact with them and engage with them in non-intrusive ways, then you have a responsibility to get over there and engage with them and not just complain like some old dude, like, oh, here we go, moving again, I don't want that. I tell people, well, then complain to me that it's raining outside. But you can't do anything about it. It is what it is.
Right.
So when people change platforms, it is what it is. You can complain, or you can decide to go where people are when you are in a people business. Make sense?
Absolutely.
Great webinar, guys. I pay $5 a month for Playster. Yikes. It's awfully cheap. It's kind of like when, you know, Playster, by the way, Playster offers a lot more things like that you could add on to make your site more effective. I'm just sure that for $5 a month you're not getting a lot of add-ons. Yeah. Kind of like when you're up against another listing agent and the seller says to you, well, they're willing to do it for 2%. And your response is supposed to be, well, at least they know what they're worth.
Yeah.
Done. You know, like, I'll leave that right there.
The reason that we switched around until we found what you like. I mean, you got to make sure that you're, you know, I wouldn't go with the cheapest out there. I'd go with quality for sure.
That's exactly it, guys. It's not about cheap, okay? It's about return on investment.
That's right.
Like the Mastermind. The Mastermind's not cheap, but you're going to find no other event that gets you ahead and gets you to where you want to go with your company, building a company like that event, okay? You can come to another one event. You can come to a free webinar, right? But it's a different thing, okay? And guys, just so you know, I know we're keeping you all on here for a long time. If you're getting no more value, you can go. We're answering questions right now. I told Mark, hey, can we hang out as long as we can and answer questions? So as long as you ask them, we're going to answer them. Did I see you post something about Pokemon Go to get business? If it wasn't you, I saw something about Pokemon Go for real estate agents. No, I did not. That's all I'm going to say.
So somebody, I think, was asking about how many deals do my agents do a year on average. Do you want me to go through that?
That's amazing. I mean, it's hundreds and hundreds. Like, it's, you know what I mean? It's a lot of transactions.
I have buyer agents that are doing 4 deals a month, 5 deals a month. I have one that has 7 under contract this month, and that's monthly. So, I mean, you know, the National Association of Realtors says that the average agent sells 6 homes a year.
Oh, it went up.
Yeah, and so my guys are doing that a month. My agents, not me, my agents. And so The systems work. They do more than probably a lot of agents in the area.
You know, Meredith, who's going to be, we used her as an example for the last Mastermind, who's coming to the next one in 2.5 weeks as well. She's coming back. She gave the example that after coming to the Mastermind, she went from, you know, saying that, you know, she kind of peaked out, she couldn't go any further, she couldn't, you know, her market was small, there's only so much you can do, to now we're 6 months later. I interviewed her a few days ago, and she goes, after the Mastermind, I implemented what you guys said, and now 5 of the top agents in her markets, 5 of the top 10 agents in her marketplace are her agents.
Mm-hmm.
But there was no more room to grow.
Right.
You know? It's just the stuff works, guys. You got to get you got to get a little more innovative in an industry that really doesn't do that.
Yeah.
Tom, is there a minimum budget for your Facebook ad campaign that you suggest? Anything less than $5 a day isn't going to get the same traction. That's the way the algorithm works. So anything less than $5 a day. What's cool about digital too is if you can't afford $5 a day for the whole month, turn it on for 2 weeks, turn it off for 2 weeks, turn it on for 2 weeks, but don't do less than $5 a day. You won't get the same response.
Yeah.
Let me see here, guys. What else? Pokemon is where the people are today. What are we talking about? Are children buying houses now?
Almost.
There's only 2 days at Mastermind. What happened next after that? Okay, so Jeanette, it is 2 days, 2 full days. It's August 2nd and 3rd. We get in on the 1st, obviously, because we get started right in the morning on the 2nd. We're in there all day on the 2nd. We go out tonight together in New Orleans. We're in there all day on the 3rd, and then we go out together on the 3rd unless you're heading home that night. And then that group kind of becomes a small family, and everybody sticks together and helps each other out after the Mastermind to make sure that everybody's implementing and getting their value from coming and investing in something like that. And like I said, guys, the results are amazing. When you look at the people who are in the Masterminds, I announced this new Mastermind, and the first 2 or 3 people that said they were coming when I announced were people at the last Mastermind.
Right.
Because they were like, the value. Meredith said to me, I said, what would you say to people who say, I can't afford $5,000, or I'm scared to spend $5,000. She goes, I was scared to death to pay $5,000, right? She goes, but I would have lost like hundreds of thousands of dollars by not being there because of what I learned and what I implemented. I set up 10 listing appointments just from being there. I wouldn't have had that if I didn't go. Completely changed everything about her business. That's what we do.
Yeah.
Jared, should the first thing to do be switching to a Mac? Yes. Get off the PC.
No, you don't have to do that. Don't listen.
No, Mark, this is where Mark's a little crazy. Okay, he's a little, it's the Texas craze. Too much beer. No, actually, in your case, it wouldn't be beer. It would be
no.
Scotch.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Amazing info, amazing value. You've just made me realize I was stuck in the 15th century. Overwhelming but very useful to know. Thanks for your time. His paid Facebook leads are better ROI than Zillow. Oh my God, our Facebook leads better ROI than Zillow. I'm not anti-Zillow. It's just that since they've gone to an impressions approach, it's not even close. Like the numbers are the numbers, the data is the data. You know, we're not going to bash. If Zillow comes back next month and they have a better ROI, we'll be all over that. It's just not. Okay. I work with a team of 4. We are at 151 deals, $66 million in volume. Is the coaching still worth it for agents at this level? Are you serious? Absolutely. That's perfect. Absolutely, guys. I mean, we work with 8 of the top 50 teams and individuals in the country. There's always stuff you get better at. That's why you're asking, because you know that in your business you're doing well, but there's a lot of things falling through the cracks, and there's a lot of things you're not holding yourself accountable to change because life gets busy and business gets busy. And there is a huge difference between business, B-U-S-I, and busyness, B-U-S-Y. And so there's always room to grow and to go from where you are. Absolutely, man. God, you're like the ideal. It's funny that question, like, is it still for me?
I think he's asking.
Absolutely for you. And by the way, Chris, you should be at the Mastermind. Am I wrong, Mark?
No, that's what he's asking the same question again. I need more time. And what I would say is you don't need more time. You need to put roles and responsibilities in place for the right people and replace yourself in the business and get rid of doing stuff that you don't change the bottom line on.
Yeah.
If you don't bring more value to that position or change the income to the company doing that, then get out of it. Get somebody else to do it.
Chris, you're the ideal of what we like sitting in that Mastermind room. Like what you would get from sitting in that room, like it's so tough because on one hand, I'm going to sound like I'm selling you, but on the other hand, like there's a part of me that just goes like you don't understand what you're missing out on. It would be perfect for you. And by the way, that was my thing with Snapchat. It seems like a younger people on it. It is younger people. It started off as teenage girls and guys cheating on their wives, and then eventually it went to, you know, like 20s and whatever, and now the demographic has skewed to 35 to 40, and it's going to continue to skew just like Facebook did. So you can either get in now and plant your flag, or you can wait and play catch-up. But now's your chance, okay? My God, man, what do we have to say to get Chris to the, Chris should be at the Mastermind. I mean, seriously, right? I mean, like, is that not screaming to you?
Well, he said Mark, Mac is the best. I actually have a Mac. I just like giving Jared a hard time.
The thing is, Mark himself is such a Mac.
Yeah.
It's tough for him. It's like the return of the Mac, that guy. He's just amazing. You see the button down? He's got a little hair coming out.
Really? Thanks.
Android or iPhone, up to you guys. I'm an iPhone guy. It's compatible with everything, but up to you. I don't really care. They work. Just not a flip phone. Don't get a Nokia. Chris, I need more time. No, you don't. I'm behind you on these questions, I can see. I love your webinars and the information you did. I wish I knew all this a year ago when I started. I can't wait to use this info. Brad, what is your cost per lead on PPC? Didn't we say it's about $8.50 or so?
$8.50 for the buyer leads, and then the seller leads through Facebook are even less than that.
How many leads do you need to create a transaction?
Yeah, so I know that on average my agents are converting about 4%. And so I know that out of the leads I get in, about 20% are going to be trash because they're going to have wrong information or bad numbers. But the remaining 80% are going to have at least a good contact information of an email or a phone number, and of those will convert 4%. So like I was doing in my goals with my agents just before this last call, we do goals every quarter and going back over where their goals and where they're at. And I know how many leads I need to bring in based upon the individual agent's goals. So I have, one that wants to do 40 deals next year, one that wants to do 65 deals next year, another one only wants to do 30 next year. And so we set the goals, and I know that how many leads I have to bring in based off of what they want to do.
So Mark, let's just do that a second. You guys on average convert at 4%, which means if you create 100 leads at $8.50 per lead, that's going to cost you $850, okay? If you're converting at 4%, that means that you're going to convert 4 transactions. Yeah. I know your business, and I know that on your average transaction, after all of your costs, paying out, overhead, everything else, you make $1,800 per transaction.
That's right.
So basically what's going on is you take $1,800 per transaction times 4 transactions is $7,200. It means that every time Mark spends $850, he brings in $7,200. Right. And so my question to you guys would be is once you run your business like a business and you understand those metrics, why would you ever stop playing that slot machine?
Right.
And that's essentially how Mark's business runs and how we teach people to run their businesses, but you have to understand how to do the metrics, what systems to have in place to convert at the level that you need, what kinds of things your agents and yourself should be saying to people to convert them. For example, one of your best lines that you talked about at our last mastermind is that you do not say to people when you're at an open house or you're talking to a potential buyer lead, are you working with an agent?
Right.
Because they're always going to say yes.
Yeah.
So what you train your people to say is, do you have anybody sending you deals?
Yeah, you help
and all of a sudden they go, oh, that's a different question. And now you get a real answer because they think you have great deals, and they'll say something like, well, my brother's friend was sending me stuff, but I didn't sign anything. And now you're really getting down to it, and your conversion ratios go up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, my God, found it tougher to get listing appointments easier for buyer leads. Not if you're doing it right on Facebook. If you're putting the right language and everything, seller leads are not that difficult. Oh, what is this? Hard to concentrate. Sorry, working on an offer from a seller I got from Jared's new listing prospecting letter. So that's another campaign we use, guys, when it comes to systems. Again, this is why you need to either be in our one-on-one or our virtual program, using the marketing. And for some of you, you need to be at the mastermind because you're going to make so much more money as a result. Guys, this is I don't know how to put this. Like, there are times in your life when opportunity is there, and you either reach up and grab it, or you go 10 years and you're in the same place, and you go, I wish I would have. This is one of those times, guys. I don't know about you, Mark, I don't get into hotel rooms with people and really get down nitty-gritty, spend 2 days with them, and,
right.
My schedule doesn't allow that, but that's how valuable this is. For those of you that are new to me, I was a #1 realtor in the country under the age of 30. We now coach thousands of people. perspective is different, okay? Mark is just incredible with what he does. If you haven't seen even the smallest part, based on the lower end things we covered tonight, getting in that room that's your opportunity, okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think that offer's still up there, guys. And by the way, we put the link, Mark, just for fun, jaredjamestoday.com/Mark, undercase, M-A-R-K. That's the link to sign up for Mastermind or one-on-one or any of those things. By the way, Charlie, that made my night. You're working on an offer you got because of one of our campaigns.
And I'll tell you, as far as conversion, you were asking what our conversions are. I mean, my agents' conversions vary, right? So some will convert at 4%, some will convert at 5 or 6%. When I'm on the phone, I convert it to 16%. And so it's just because I don't take no for an answer. We just keep pushing until we get what we need. And so we just keep asking questions, and we provide value. We provide a bunch of really good information to our leads, and that's what people want.
Mark, do you keep a strict schedule that works for you and your family? My problem is jumping at every buyer call to see properties. And guys, you have to understand, if you listened to Mark earlier, that's what he was talking about, was that Mark had like no life, and he was missing his family's life. And now, with the systems he put in place, he's got someone that runs his business.
Yeah, and that's, so what I would tell you is that, who asked that question?
That was Miranda.
Miranda. So just to tell you, Miranda, so what's incredible, and when you get your real estate license, they don't teach you guys how to run a business. They don't teach you how to work with clients or how to work with people. And that's unfortunate. I think it's probably a pretty rough thing that they do. They throw people out there on the streets to sell somebody's largest asset in their life without full training. And so what I would tell you is that just like when you call a doctor or when you call a dentist or when you call to schedule even to get your oil changed, they don't jump and say, I'll come to meet you right away. They don't say, oh, how fast can you get here? We absolutely need your business. There's set times and set schedules, and so everyone in my team, including myself, is taught how to time block and follow a schedule. That doesn't mean that all days go perfect with that schedule, but we really try to do that. And that would mean that we make calls at certain times during the day based off the MIT study that shows what times are best to call. And then we follow up with our leads at a specific time, busy work at a specific time. And so, we absolutely follow time blocking. That's the only way that you can become successful. Otherwise, they'll pull you everywhere. So one thing that's really helpful that I'll tell you, when somebody was calling wanting me to go show a house, and I was supposed to go home and see my kids or what have you, I was just booked for that day, or I wanted to take a day off, I would tell them, you know what? I'm actually booked that day. I already have a couple of clients lined up at that time. But what I can do is I have Tuesday and Thursday available from 3 to 5. Will any of those times work for you? And you provide them an option, and 90% of the time they pick one. And that's you just got to learn how to work the clients correctly.
Awesome. Someone said if you're under 50, do this program now. I mean, really over 52, it doesn't matter. Mark went to a mastermind, ? No. But like I said, Mark was somebody that I don't do personal myself, the one-on-one coaching anymore. We have coaches now that do that. But me and Mark were working together. We were doing our own little mastermind. Just to confirm, do we get a link to this webinar recording I want to share with Biz Partner? Tom, yes, you will. As long as the recording here works, absolutely, yes, you will. Awesome, thanks. Good night, guys. Great info, lots to think about. Tim, I really appreciate the late time of this. Thank you so much, guys. This time is so helpful. Lori, Mark, are you finding your systems are working in Toronto the same way as they are in the U.S. offices with the market being so different up there?
Yeah, for sure. So I will tell you, Laura, there's some difference between MLS access and working with expireds and being able to contact expireds. There's some differences up there for sure. Some of the MLS information is not available. And so what I would tell you is that there are a lot of CRMs. Commissions is up there in Toronto. Jared, like he was saying, he'll have some stuff, a whole system in a couple of months. And so I know that there's systems that work up there that are tweaked a little differently to be able to accomplish the same thing. What I will tell you is that the Facebook ads are just dominating up there. And so if you haven't been doing the Facebook, try that first. What we have is our Facebook ads go to listings to leads landing pages because we found that the listings to leads landing pages actually convert for us a little bit easier on those seller and home value.
Because there's not as many people. And guys, here's the crazy. We were running for a client in Ireland, and dude, they were getting they were doing like a $5 a day, whatever, and in like a week they had 1,000 leads.
Yeah.
Because nobody was doing it there. It was crazy. Like, the guy didn't want to tell his partners. He didn't want to tell. He had to shut the program down for a bit because it was overwhelming him. Like, you know, when people aren't doing things, that's the time when you do them, okay? And by the way, guys, at the Mastermind, too, we cover things like disc profiles, how to respond to your leads appropriately according to where they fall on the disc profile so that you're responding to them the way that's going to make the most sense to them. We cover assistance, hiring, what you're looking for, what they should be doing, the systems that are followed there. We cover a lot of those kinds of things that are more higher level that you really need to know about. So, guys, here's what we're going to do. We're going to close this down. I see the questions slowing down. They're still kind of coming in, so we'll still be answering those after. I think, again, if you go to, it's over in your offers tab next to your chat there, jaredjamestoday.com/Mark, lowercase, M-A-R-K. You'll see the offers there. Some of you just need to make the leap, sign up for Mastermind, or at least talk to us about it, sign up for a consult, or just sign up for it if you don't want to get locked out. Some of you need to make the leap and get into one-on-one coaching. I'll do that consult with you. Some of you are brand new. You need to be in virtual coaching. Every one of you needs to go do a marketing consult. It's free, and have us start doing your seller lead creation, promoting your listings to get buyer and seller leads and all that kind of stuff. I'm going to take that down in a second here, guys. This is your last chance. That's why I'm kind of saying it in front of you now. With that being said, Mark, are there any closing remarks you want to make, or?
No, I would say somebody asked a second ago about the best times to call the MIT study. If you do a Google search for MIT studies, it'll go over all that information. But what we found is Wednesday afternoons from around the 4 o'clock, 4:30 to 7:30, 8 o'clock time frame, and the same thing for Thursdays. Mornings are always great to call seller leads, expireds and FSBOs. So it really depends on the lead you're calling, but Mondays and Fridays are usually no bueno.
Okay. So all that stuff matters too, guys, like when you're calling, what kind of response you're going to get, all that kind of stuff, okay? So, guys, with that being said, your last chance, go on over there, click on that, go to jaredjametoday.com/Mark, M-A-R-K, or just click on the offer, pick which one applies to you guys. I hope I get a chance to have many of you in our programs. I hope I get a chance to get some of you at the actual Mastermind. I hope this was very helpful for you. As long as this records like it should, we will be sending out a recording as long as technology works like we hope it would.
Yeah.
As always, like I say, guys, go to connectwithjared.com. Let's connect. Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, all those kinds of places, guys. Thank you so much for being on here. It means the world to us that a lot of you are up late. Depending on where you are, it's not that late, but for us, it's late. Thank you so much, guys. It means the world to us. Make it a point to go say thank you to Mark. Mark's on Facebook. Just put in Mark Maniha. He's not the older guy. He's the younger, handsome man that comes up under Mark Maniha.
Yeah,
Chris said, Jared, first exposure with you. We'll be looking into the Mastermind and the one-on-one. Appreciate your time. Chris, no problem, man. Like I said, former #1 in the country. Mark, obviously is killing it. This is an opportunity for you, man, but I don't like to go on and on with it. So, John, marketing consult, question mark. If you click on in the offers tab over there and just scroll down the page where it's Mastermind one-on-one, the bottom one is for marketing, okay? You can check out, you can do a free marketing consult. You just go to that page, learn about marketing, and sign up for a marketing consult. Or just go to our website, jaredjametoday.com. Just go over where it says lead creation, click on it, and sign up for a free marketing consult, okay? Guys, thank you so much. You guys have been great. We'll talk to you soon, okay? Have a great one.